What's happening, Steam? Okay, so got a bit of time this evening, so I'm going to talk a little bit about crypto gains. I'm in danger of coming across as a bit of a Bitcoin maximalist in this particular video, but I think some truths need to be told. So what I'm not talking about here is I'm not talking about the technology and the merits of Bitcoin versus other coins. I'm just talking about market behavior and market sentiment. So when you're looking at crypto gains, one thing a lot of people do if they are invested in a particular coin is they engage in a little bit of confirmation bias, and I'm a little bit involved as well. So when it suits, people will talk about their gains in US dollar terms, and when it suits, they'll talk about it in Bitcoin terms. However, I think if you are talking about gains and whether you've made any gains from a cryptocurrency, today, as of January 2018, and previously, it may change in the future, but as of today, you really should be talking about crypto gains in relation to Bitcoin. So any other coin should always be related to and equated to its Bitcoin price. This is because it has proven, from what I have seen over the last 4 years, that every coin is heavily affected by what Bitcoin does. And just as a general overall pattern, and again, this is not financial advice or trading advice, it's just my own personal observation. Just as a general pattern, if Bitcoin goes up rapidly, all the altcoins tend to, as a general rule, go down rapidly. This, I speculate, is because people tend to jump out of their coins and into Bitcoin in order to lock in some Bitcoin profit. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even people that don't believe in Bitcoin will jump out of their altcoins or other cryptocurrencies into Bitcoin, try to lock in some profit, and then potentially jump back into their cryptocurrency of choice. On the flip side, if Bitcoin goes down very quickly and the sentiment is bearish, people again seem to dump their altcoins or their other cryptocurrencies, get into Bitcoin, and I suggest they probably get into fiat or pounds, euros, dollars, and then try to buy back Bitcoin at cheaper levels, and then potentially buy back their poison or their cryptocurrency of choice at profit. So lock in some more profits and get more of their currency of choice. So basically, the more volatile Bitcoin is, the more altcoins seem to suffer. On the flip side, if Bitcoin is stable, like it has been or relatively stable, and by stable I mean only moving up and down in single digits each day, because that's stable for cryptocurrencies. If Bitcoin is stable, i.e. boring, then a lot more altcoins tend to pump. And they don't pump very subtly, they pump 50, 60, 100%, 200% in 24 hours. So that's what I've noticed is the general pattern over the last couple of years, particularly in the bull market. So what does that tell you, or what does that tell me? It tells me that whenever I'm investing, or whenever you're investing or buying into a coin that is a Bitcoin, the first question you should ask yourself is, how well is this coin likely to do against Bitcoin? I.e., is it likely to outperform Bitcoin over a certain period of time? Or is it likely to be subject to the whims of Bitcoin, and is Bitcoin likely to outdo it? So don't be fooled. If Bitcoin goes times 10 and your coin goes times 2, in my view, you've lost out, because generally, if you are getting into a coin that's not Bitcoin, you have to go via Bitcoin. And when you have those Bitcoins in your hand, you have a choice to make. Do I sell my Bitcoin for my crypto of choice, or do I keep hold of my Bitcoin? So people tend to conveniently forget this, yeah, and always try to look on the bright side of their coin and say, but you know, it's gone up 100%, so I'm in the profit. When in reality, had they just held on to Bitcoin, they could have earned a lot more. And sometimes you look at some of these coins, for example, that offer lending fees of say 1%. And you don't realise that actually, if you had kept your Bitcoin, you probably would have done better off than a guaranteed 1% a day, or whatever it was on some of these lending coins. And a lot of these coins, well, what I would call the Ponzi coins, are purely surviving because Bitcoin has gone up so dramatically over the last year or so. Anyway, that's a point aside. The general point is, always value your coin in terms of Bitcoin at the moment. It might change in the future, but for now, always try to look at it in terms of Satoshis. What's the Satoshi value? How's that changing? And base your decision around that. Try to analyze the coins in Bitcoins and Satoshis, and that will give you a better idea of what's going on in the market and what's going on with given coins. So just a bit of advice. Take it or leave it. Do as you please. All right, I'm gone.